to another episode of
Mum
and Son. I'm Jay, I'm the son.
And I'm Alicia, and I'm the mom.
It's good to see you back, and I hope you are having a lovely time wherever you are.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again.
And checking out all the other episodes and stuff. We really do appreciate it. Today's one for you guys is going to be something that is very, I think it happens a lot in life.
Yeah.
And, you know, to us at all different stages of life as well. But that topic that we're going to talk about in today's episode is
it's about taking things for granted.
Yeah,
you know,
it's about taking things for granted, which
we all do.
Which we all do.
Can't help it.
At some time. And I guess when we were thinking about this episode and thinking about it, I mean, there's so many areas and sides that we can take things for granted on or for, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've got, we can take people for granted.
People, opportunities,
our circumstances,
what we have,
even what we have, what we have, as in, you know.
Yeah, because we're always focusing on what we don't have. We can't even appreciate what little or whatever we do have.
So do you think, I mean, that's a good place to probably start, I guess, in taking for granted. Why do we usually do it the most? Is it because we're constantly looking at the things that we don't have? Yeah. Instead of looking at the things that we do and should be, you know, thankful for, appreciative of, but also that we should be utilizing whilst we have it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that, you know, I don't know, it might be an ego type of thing, but it's this feeling, consistent feeling. I think I'll describe it as this: a consistent feeling of feeling dissatisfied.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feeling dissatisfied.
Feeling of feeling dissatisfied. Wow.
That's
it.
Let's put it that way. But
no, that is it.
What I mean is like you're always just feeling dissatisfied about everything you have or that is in or a part of your life. You know, everything you look around you is not good enough. Everything you have around you is just, you know, I'm dissatisfied with it. There's no harm in wanting more, and there's no harm in striving for more. That is what, you know, we do set goals and we do aim for. You know, no one's saying, you know, sit there and wallow in what you have.
Yeah.
You can always
or just settle for that.
Settle for it, you know. That's not it. This is like a feeling of dissatisfaction of what everything you have. So that causes you or leads you to not be grateful in any way, shape or form. And the funny thing is if you want things to change, it comes from your gratitude of what you have. Doesn't matter if it's a little or a lot, doesn't matter if it's large or small, but coming from a place of, you know, gratitude and thanks and things like that of what you have, those things create the good energy to bring you more of what you want. That's you know,
I think so.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And I think because we'll obviously probably do a more full episode on gratitude later on, but you're right, taking things for granted, gratitude is really a huge part of that. And for people that watch and say, well, you know, how can I fake or how can I be grateful for something, blah, 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 when this and that, blah, blah, blah. What I say is that you also have to change your perspective as well.
True.
Because
very true.
When your perspective changes, then it's hard to feel like, well, because I don't have this or that or this is missing, that I can feel a certain way. You start to actually go, actually, I'm now kind of taking this more. I don't take it for granted no more. I appreciate it more, or I respect it more. I know within my life, when I was in secondary school and I went to Ghana at that time, I had been many times before, but when I went there at that specific time, for some reason, at the age that I was at, I just saw it from my perspective might have been a bit different, but I saw it in a kind of a different way. And I thought, gosh, even when I've been back at school and sometimes I've been taking the classes for granted and these things and stuff, and just thinking nothing of it. Just like, oh yeah, well, everyone's got this. It doesn't matter. Like, well, like whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like, everyone has this. And when I went there,
traveling and seeing other people,
and I saw some people in this, that were thing, and I was thinking, if they could have this same thing, they'd use it to the fullest. They wouldn't complain.
Yeah, they'd make the most of the opportunity of.
They'd be actually thankful. They make the most of it. They utilize it. They respect it.
Yeah,
they'd appreciate it. Whereas I'm there, or friends and stuff, and we're like, it's like, this is just another lesson. Let's just get through it, and so on. So that really changed things, and I started looking and saying, I came back and I didn't take things for granted. Instead, I thought, I'm blessed. Yeah, I'm very fortunate. Yeah, I'm very thankful. In fact, let me use what I have to the best that I can, because not everyone does.
Correct.
That was the difference as well. Like, the gratitude and feeling blessed and privileged, and that came, but that perspective shift changed everything.
Yeah.
So that for me is one example from my own life I could think about, from taking something
for granted
to then going, wow, like, that's silly. I can't do that.
It's great, and again, it's like we spoke about in the other episode. If you haven't watched it, you go back and watch the previous one, because we spoke about kind of sort of having to reflect and appreciate and see things from that point of view.
Yeah,
you know, because by looking at things in a different way, you were able to turn things around. Again, it's looking at the situation and trying to turn it around, isn't it? That self-reflection. It's always important.
It really is.
You know, how the way you perceived things, because you travelled, you went on holiday, and you saw how, you know, everything you had, you were taking for granted. Yeah. And by thinking, you know what, I'm not going to take this for granted anymore. I'm going to appreciate these things. I'm going to be thankful. Things started to change or shift in what you were doing with the opportunity, isn't it? You know, so that basically meant that you were creating even a greater opportunity out of your situation or circumstance because of the way you perceived it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why not taking, you know, sort of taking things for granted, it doesn't serve you well. You know, like when I say, like, if you, on an energy level, if you sort of appreciate things and, you know, you bring more into your life that you can be thankful or take, you know, not take for granted, because you're changing.
It is, and it's the same in that example that I gave, and it's also the same in, we did a bigger episode on it, but some people may be comparing themselves and going, well, my life isn't as good as that person's. Yeah. So I'm taking my life for granted, or certain aspects of it, because
I actually want better one.
Yeah, because I want
theirs.
Yeah. So and that's it. So it can also seep into many different ways
and another thing, when you were just saying that there, when we were talking, I was thinking about how we take even people for granted.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, some people take their mums, their dad, you know, you just take people for granted that they're going to do things for you, and you know, and you don't
always be there.
Yeah, and you don't always show how grateful you are that they are in your life, or they are there for you, or they are doing certain things for you. You just take it for granted that, you know, you can always rely on them. Even friends, you know, you may have a best friend that, you know, is always there for you, and you haven't realised that you have taken them for granted. Or could be, you know, a spouse, or even you know, sibling that you might have taken for granted. So on the people level, it's also good to kind of also think about those around you, those you love, that you sometimes haven't shown your gratitude to them, and you've taken them for granted. And, you know, it's good to kind of realise it and say, you know something, let me do something for them. Let me show them that I'm not taking them for granted, and that they're there for me. And, you know, although I've kind of failed to really appreciate them when I should have. Show them. It's never too late, is it?
But
To show people that,
But that's the truth. It never is kind of too late, because I think as long as you can start to open yourself to recognizing that, that's just a form of expansion or growth within yourself. And
it's true.
For different people, it will come at different times.
Sure.
But if that happens and you really do act upon it, that's just the main thing. But you're right. It's something that doesn't need to. There's no not a sell by date, but an expiry date.
Yeah,
or nothing
and there's
like
no
that.
ceiling, is there?
Or there's no
you
ceiling.
Can take it as far as you want.
It's just something that once you sort of recognize, as you said, there's even some people who, if their parents or someone in their family or friends has a health risk or a health scare or something tragic like that comes up, they then go, "Oh my gosh, like I need to now."
It's a wake up call.
Yeah, it's sort of a wake up call.
Yeah, it's a wake up call.
I think you're right. Sometimes the taking the things for granted or people and so on, it can happen when you get rocked a bit, or there is a wake up call.
Yeah.
Whether it is something like that we just talked
health
about
scare
with
or
like people, or whether it was just me and traveling and being in a different environment and just going, wow, like I can't believe this is going on, and there's me, and the funniest thing is sometimes you can even find in happiness when you may travel, go to certain places, and you may see people that don't have many followers or like
happy.
Much money or many followers or something, but they're happy with life. And then that tells you more about yourself than anything, saying, wow, this person with maybe even less than me, or that could be facing more adversity or whatever,
or challenges,
is able to be this happy or this kind of nice and kind, and I can't, then I'm taking a lot for granted. I truly am. Like, I'm taking a lot for granted and not appreciating what I do have when I have more on, like, talking from this example, when I have more to maybe be grateful for, and I'm here feeling sad or feeling peeved off or something like that.
Sure. I mean, that's a great example, because we can see or be going back to being or feeling dissatisfied with what we have, and then you can meet people that have far less, but they seem far happier. We're thinking, what is this? And it's just that they're not taking things for granted as much as you are.
That's it. They're not taking things for granted, and
they're enjoying what they have.
Yeah, they're enjoying what they have. They're making the most out of what they have.
Sometimes, I think the problem with a lot of us now is that we say, I'm not really happy with what I have, or you're taking what you have for granted. So you're looking further beyond and saying, but you know what? When I have this, then I won't take it for granted. When I have that, then you know what? I'm going to be happy. But as we've spoken once before, this is all a journey. This is all a process. True. You have to do everything that you go along, because if you say, I'm not, something, when I reach this, I don't think I'm going to take things for granted anymore. But what are you doing now? Maybe taking everything you have for granted because you feel it's not good enough until you achieve or get X, Y, Z. As I said, there's no harm in aiming higher and trying to achieve more. But, don't put your life on hold. Don't, say, listen, you know what, I don't really care about anything or anyone till I get to this stage in my life, or I get to this level in my life. It's a journey.
That's true.
And you have to go along with what you have and the people you have and the people that are there for you. You have to carry them along with you as part of that journey. Whether you reach the final end of what you wanted or not, you've enjoyed the process, and they've enjoyed being a part of the process with you. So, if you try not to take things for granted, it helps you appreciate and make that journey with others and yourself and colleagues, friends, family, whatever, siblings, whatever. They're all part of that nice journey and process.
things become more scintillating.
Yeah,
You can really
value and appreciate it.
You can value it and appreciate it more because there's more depth and meaning to it now.
And to you as a person, because you're not shallow. You're not just, saying, not everyone's like this, but whether it's monetary or wanting physical things that you think, if I have that, that will define me, or that will mean I'm this. You don't need to be in that place. When you acquire those things, great. There's no harm in that. There's no harm in aiming for those things, but you have to value and appreciate and not take for granted what is around you. And that helps you as a person grow, doesn't it? And to define more of who you are. So when you do get all the things you want, that you'll really be able to enjoy them more.
Exactly.
Because you won't, because you realise, when I had a little and now I've got a lot, I've never taken either one for granted, isn't it? I've enjoyed them all.
Yes.
And I've appreciated them all.
And you appreciate them all.
Yeah. So it helps. It makes life, it gives a different perspective.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it gives it a whole new meaning. And because you could be missing out on the beauty and the meaning and everything
of having,
that's happening.
Yeah, or having people there or around you.
Now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Because it's like, sometimes, you go on holiday or you go somewhere and you're moaning about this and you're moaning about that and you're moaning, and it's like, just enjoy the fact that you're there, isn't it? Exactly. I'm just using holiday as an example because it's one of those things that going on a holiday or something takes you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say, where's the running water, or something like that. You could moan and groan about, maybe where you went to stay, they didn't have this or that or whatever. You can look at all those things and not, take it sort of, not appreciate it and see everything around you. But then you've got the beautiful sunshine, you've got, you're in another place, and then you look at the people around you and you say, wow, I really do appreciate them, and I'm, I'm not going to take them for granted that they're here with me in this moment.
Yeah, exactly.
They're here with me right now. And you can shut your eyes and say, oh, I'm so happy that I'm here with everyone, rather than moaning about other things. So as they often say, wherever you are, be there.
That's true.
And I think that applies not even just to travel, but even to yourself and your life. Just whether you come home, even when you come to your home, wherever it may be, you may say, you know what, I'm glad to be here, and I'm really grateful. I'm not taking anything for granted. I appreciate everything, and I appreciate all the people, etc. It's just a nice.
It's absolutely true.
A nice way to see life and get through life, and it makes life so much easier. Yeah. And you find more of what you want comes to you. Because you're coming from that place. Yeah,
and even like if people haven't read the book or don't know much about Helen Keller,
oh wow,
they should look, because her book, which was titled Optimism, I mean, you want to talk about being happy about life and not taking things for granted. She was very content and happy with her life,
but she had,
regardless of the fact that she couldn't hear and see.
Wow.
But the things of what she went on to do goes even beyond
someone that can.
Yeah, that's someone that has that.
But even if you think about it, having sight, having hearing, all these things, you can take them for granted.
But those are things we take for granted because we feel like, oh, everyone has that, so it doesn't matter. But guess
Spare
what?
a thought for
this person doesn't wear glasses and I do, so it's like it can be this type of thing, or this person can hear like a dog can hear like very well and I can't, or something. But just be grateful and appreciate and utilize whatever you have, because then you're not taking what you have for granted, because to someone else what you take for granted they may not have, and they would love to, or they would love that fortune of having that. And when you see yourself like in that way, you recognize, wow, you know, maybe I don't have it as bad as I thought. And even if this part of my life isn't
perfect
to the place where
what
I want to take it, because that's the thing. It's almost like
I told you, that dissatisfaction. Yeah.
Because even if you feel like, oh, but my life isn't good enough, I kind of see it like, but it's good enough to get going and do whatever else you want to do to create
from now on
a greater thing or whatever. It's good enough for that.
Sure.
And that's all it needs to be. You know what I mean?
Nothing has to be perfect.
It doesn't have to be
because
perfect.
there is no perfection.
We're not aiming. I'd even aim for progression.
Yeah.
Than perfection.
Look,
because
perfection is unattainable.
And then it's different for everyone else, because are you blaming it on what your parents say is perfect? Are you blaming it on what society deems perfect? The only thing in life that matters is that if you feel happy in yourself and you're doing things you love and you're going for them and you're able to have a harmonious relationship with others and yourself inside honestly, then that's a great place to start. Then that's a great place to start. Yeah. You know,
and move. Yeah. You know, move forward. It doesn't matter. Just be in the zone of, you know, not taking things for granted and saying, I don't take this for granted. I appreciate it. And the rest is like carrying on flowing on your journey, isn't it?
Exactly.
Rather than, all this stuff that, but I can't do, you know, all this stuff that goes, it's just holding you back.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's actually cutting off good energy that you really do want and deserve to have. You're cutting it off from flowing to you because of the negative things that you're apportioning to what you have right now.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, we just talked about maybe we may do a thing on perfection and stuff, but it's like, wasn't that show once, it was talking about, or looking at the earth and how the imperfections of it make it in a sense perfect. Yeah.
Even like the whole solar system, how everything happened and came into being, you know, there was imbalance, there was non-perfection. Yeah. And that is why, like I said to you, you know, I don't feel perfection exists because nothing is perfect, but it just somehow works and finds its own balance and its own way. And that's kind of what we've ended up with now. Yeah. Due to the fact that nothing was perfect.
But that's it. I kind of...
If it had been perfect, we wouldn't be here. Yeah. Because it would have been...
It's almost like, I just... That's what I see, because, you know, because I was creative in that, it was always striving get this thing perfect and get it right. And to a certain extent, there was a thing in that of just trying to get the best work or thing that you can. To another extent, there could be you're holding yourself back as well. Yeah. But as long as I think you can look back and what you did or you're doing is better than whatever you used to be or doing, that's the right way to be. Exactly. So focus on the progression rather than the perfection. Yeah. And then you'll reach more success. Yeah. More in lining with reaching your best, whatever, and so on. Yeah. But you're not putting it under the cap of, but am I perfect yet, or am I this and that? Because once again, I guess by doing all of this, we're taking from the fact of just going back to where you should be grateful. Or should be taking things, or shouldn't be taking things for granted. Correct. And just building up on whatever you have.
Whatever you have, just go from there. That's good enough to get going. And if you don't see it in a derogatory way, then no one else will see it in a derogatory way. It doesn't matter what little you have. It does not matter. You go from there. You take what you have as a starting point, you know, and you then continue to grow and build and carry on your journey and improve, and, you know, slowly, because you're not taking what you have for granted. You're bringing more into your life that you can feel gratitude for. You know, if you are taking things for granted, you are preventing a lot of things coming to you because of that whole dissatisfaction thing, which, you know, you're always dissatisfied. It doesn't matter what comes your way. It's not good enough. I wanted it like this. I wanted it like that. I'm not happy with the way that happened. I would have preferred this. If you're coming from that place, you're cutting things off.
Yeah, it's true.
And some people say, oh, but yeah, I thought if I had this or if I had that, I wouldn't take it for granted, Don't wait for the coming. You have to start now.
It's true.
Because the coming may never come.
It's true. It's almost, that's it. And it just reminds me quickly about, the grass is greener. You think that the coming of what's going to come, the grass is going to be greener there
on the other side.
Yeah, and you think
better,
that's going to be
you don't
the
appreciate
situation or the better thing.
Yeah.
So you're gonna, and as you said, you could be, because one thing I've recognized about this that is really huge, I guess, before we wrap up, and that is struggling now when you don't need to struggle, or making it as painful as it's being if you're going through a hard time, and it kind of doesn't need to be like that. Whether, no matter what you want to achieve or do or whatever, you don't need to kind of struggle with the complaints, struggle with the blaming something else, or always trashing wherever you are, and that it's not good enough and everything. As you said, if people go on a holiday and they do that, it's like, you don't need to live life like that on the basis of, when I then get the thing, that's when I'll stop complaining or stop talking negatively about this or stop blah 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 blah. Because what you want to do is live in a place of kind of peace, gratitude and appreciation and everything.
Now.
And then you'll even find that you'll still go on, because we get scared, but if I'm not judging something or then I'm going to stay stuck where I am. No, you're not. It's up to you whether you stay stuck where you are, based on if you don't move or do anything.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that journey can always just be so much easier
and unfold in
a much better way.
Yeah.
If you, as you said, like the kind of depth of it and things are more scintillating, if you just learn right now to make peace and just
enjoy the now and live in the now,
utilize wherever you are now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you settle and that's it. It just means that you make peace with it. So whatever you build up on that is going to be just as good.
Yeah. And you're constantly there, you're evolving. Sorry.
That's exactly it.
Evolving in a really nice way. You're not, the worst things is to live in the past.
Yeah.
Or too much, or try and live in the future.
Yeah.
Too much ahead. Doesn't mean I'm saying don't have goals and ambitions.
Yeah, sure, and you can't visualize.
You want to aim for them,
so
of course you do. But
you're not,
you have to
separating yourself from
the now
to the point
in
where
the
you
moment.
can't.
Yeah, you can't enjoy the now.
Yeah.
Because you're too busy worrying about what happened in the past, or you're too busy worrying about the future. The now becomes like I don't care about the now. I'm care about what happened in the past, or I care about what I'm, too far ahead in the future. That creates imbalance.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because it's about balance.
Yeah, the now feeling content and balanced doesn't mean you need to be stuck with what you have and think, I don't need to do anything. It just means that you are content, not dissatisfied, and that contentment leads to, a sense of not taking things for granted. And then you have steps that you can now build on.
That's what it is.
Because you're trying to take a leap and ignore all the little steps in between, if I can put it that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you're looking behind you at the steps that were behind. They're not serving you any purpose if you want to go forward. You plant your one foot, your next foot, and you say, this is the now. Fair enough, I want to get up there. But as I am journeying up there, I look around me and I'm grateful and appreciative and thankful for what is around me now as I journey up there.
That's exactly it.
Kind of
and
thing.
I even, just quickly, it's the same, I think, for even some people who may be like looking to lose weight or something like that, just using that as a analogy. They could be the fact you may have, your arms and legs to work out and do things. You could take it for granted thinking, but because I'm this size and I'm not this size yet and blah, 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 there's nothing to be, happy about yet, or this and that. But what I say is you can learn to appreciate wherever you are and wherever you have now. You're going to find the process of going to wherever you want to be so much easier.
Yeah.
Because all that emotional baggage, all that complaints and the negativity and the under appreciation and all of that stuff will just be let go of, and you'll probably find whatever you want to do will happen faster.
Definitely.
Because you're coming from that place of being grateful,
yeah,
respecting yourself or respecting whatever you have.
Sure.
Learning to utilize it to its full potential, because you now see it as an opportunity here,
yeah,
rather than something that's missing.
Yeah, perfect. You know, and as I said, like, you have to try and get all the negatives out, or get them out of your way, and throw in the positives. And allow that to become your way of life and your way of viewing things. And then it's almost like doorways open. I'm not kidding you. Like, you know, just that change in your mind frame, in your mindset, like you were saying, the way you perceive things differently, you know, because we use that saying in one of our other episodes, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, that Joan Dara said. And it is true. If you take what you have for granted, then you become dissatisfied.
Yeah.
If you start appreciating it, you become satisfied. So you say, yeah, I'm satisfied. I can move on to the next thing now.
No, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. It's actually that powerful. It really is.
And everyone, you know, as I said, there's no ceiling, there's no limitation. You can change today. You can decide today.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to take people for granted anymore today, and a whole new thing can open up for you from this moment. You know, it's not like you got to study for a year and then you know things. You know, you can start really today. At the end of watching the video, you can start thinking in your mind, "Wow, I've been taking a lot for, you know, I haven't been taking much for granted. You know, let me start appreciating things more, people more.
Yeah.
And, you know, doorways open when you come from that standpoint.
And you know what? Just to end it, because we talked about that saying, you know, like when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. The original story behind it, just to summarize it, was a woman who was, you know, she was in her 80s or 90s, was going into a senior home.
Wow.
And she was blind. And when she went into the home, she was kind of taken there. She goes, oh, wow, the place is beautiful, it's lovely, and so on. And the care assistant, or whoever it was, said, oh, but how do you know? Like, you can't see. How do you know what it's like and if it's as nice as you're saying? And she goes, it doesn't matter what's going on out there. What it only matters is how I choose to see it.
That's profound.
So that's the thing about this all, you know. Like, whether you hear that and it adds to what we just said about the way you when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, or the fact that even someone who was blind could still see the beauty in her situation.
That's powerful.
And for maybe most of us, or some of us watching, we may have the fortune of actually watching this, or if you can hear it, you have the fortune of hearing it. It just shows you that there's a lot to be grateful for, thankful for, and to utilize as well
in your life
and appreciate as well.
I agree. Gosh, well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I'm even moved by it. I'm even moved by
that was a very good one.
The thoughts that have been stirred around this whole subject. I hope you have too.
Yes.
Because, you know, it's not, we're just, you know, we can't say that things are just in our way. You have to look at things in your way as well. You know, other people that are watching will be reflecting on things in their life and situations and circumstances. And, you know, obviously we're just talking from the heart of what we see things as. But even now, just some of the things we just spoke about, and the story behind that quote, is so powerful. It's like really moving. Yeah,
it is. It is. So I hope you were moved just as much as we were. And if you like this episode, then, you know, give it a like. You can even share it. Someone else needs to hear this, and they're taking things for granted. Then you can maybe play them this, and it may help them on their journey to starting to appreciate
true,
and
true.
do all the other positive things that we said. And if you've got any recommendations or anything else that you want to leave or say, then feel free to do it by leaving a comment or so. And if you want to join the family, you're always welcome. And you can subscribe to be up to date with all our latest episodes as well.
Yeah, thanks masses for joining us. And we look forward to bringing out more content for you and sharing more of our little nuggets of words of wisdom or whatever. Experience, life experience.
Else.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thanks.
Yep. So this is MumNSon, and until then we are done. See you on the next one.